Let's start with our first news. Sean Strickland gets heated in a tense back and forth with Strickland-Helwani following a controversial exchange after UFC 328 buildup. Strickland-Helwani heavily criticized Strickland for his trash talk aimed at Khamzat leading up to the fight, pointing out that he insulted his religion, his mother, and his family, only to later claim it was all done to sell the fight. Ariel called that excuse fraud, cowardly, and something that cannot be walked back after crossing personal lines. He stressed that once you attack family and faith, there is no erasing it, even if the intention was promotion. Strickland responded on X, calling Ariel a leech he never respected, claiming the hatred was real between him and Khamzat, and insisting both fighters earned mutual respect through blood. He doubled down, saying Ariel has always been a pathetic MMA critic who contributes nothing but opinions. He also referenced political comments regarding Israel support, claiming he stands by his statements. Strickland-Helwani fired back on his show, rejecting the idea that he is a leech, stating he has covered the sport since Strickland was young. He said his criticism was never about fighting ability, but about inappropriate banter and disrespectful comments. Ariel also dismissed claims that he follows every post-fight statement, saying he only reacts to clips sent to him. He added that disagreement does not equal lack of support for a people or a nation, and criticized Strickland for mixing topics unnecessarily. The tension continues to fuel debate across MMA media circles, as both sides stand firm in their positions, with Khamzat's body shut down. Both camps remain locked in a public standoff, with fans divided, analysts reacting, and the rivalry discussion spreading across MMA platforms, keeping the controversy alive well beyond the fight week headlines. Move on to another news. Justin Gaethje believes Ilya became very emotional during the White House press conference, where Ilya got into a heated altercation with Josh Hokan. It's funny because he's very emotional, so that was good to see. He got emotional when, although I do get emotional defending my friends as well, but you can't let another man control you like that. Never. Justin Gaethje further emphasized that moments like this show how quickly emotions can take over even experienced fighters during major media events like the White House press conference, especially when tensions are already high between athletes and personalities. He noted that emotional reactions can sometimes overshadow the actual message being delivered, and that fighters often struggle to maintain composure when personal loyalty and public criticism collide in real time under bright media lights and global attention. He also added that defending friends is natural in combat sports culture, but discipline is what separates professionals from emotional reactions that can be used against them in press conference settings and public interviews. The discussion around Ilya and the White House press conference moment continues to circulate as fans debate whether emotional intensity helps or harms a fighter's image in the modern era of MMA media coverage and viral clips. In contrast, Justin Gaethje suggested that while passion is important, control and timing matter just as much when dealing with high-pressure face-to-face exchanges that are broadcast worldwide and analyzed instantly by fans, analysts, and media outlets across the sport. Ultimately, he believes Ilya will learn from the moment and move forward with better emotional awareness in future appearances while continuing to compete at the highest level of the sport without losing focus under pressure situations like this again in upcoming events. Move on to another news. Nate Diaz rips Sean Strickland and Khamzat during a heated face-to-face interview with Mike Perry ahead of their upcoming Netflix fight on May 16th. During the interview, Nate Diaz went off on Khamzat and Sean Strickland over the drama surrounding their recent buildup, pointing out how fighters talk aggressive before fights, only to later show respect and even hug after the event. He criticized the inconsistency, saying he saw highlights where fighters were suddenly shaking hands and acting friendly after months of intense trash talk, calling it fake energy and unnecessary promotion tactics. Nate Diaz said he keeps things real from start to finish, and if there is real conflict, it should not turn into friendly moments just because cameras are rolling after the fight or during media appearances. He explained that he does not believe in creating artificial beef just to sell fights, stating that fighters should either keep it honest or not engage in manufactured rivalries at all. During the conversation, Mike Perry listened as Nate Diaz emphasized that he respects violence and competition, but not staged emotions that switch immediately after competition ends. He also commented that Sean Strickland's post-fight behavior shows how quickly narratives change and how fans are often left confused when fighters shift from hostility to respect in seconds. Nate Diaz added that while promotion is part of combat sports, there is a fine line between entertainment and authenticity, and crossing it can damage credibility with real fans. He then addressed Khamzat and Sean Strickland again, saying he prefers fighters who stay consistent with their words and actions rather than changing tone depending on outcomes. After the interview, Nate Diaz and Mike Perry still maintained mutual respect, with both acknowledging they are focused on real competition ahead of their Netflix clash. The discussion later shifted to UFC President Dana White, as reports suggested multiple UFC sponsors reached out to him over the controversy surrounding recent fighter comments and promotional behavior. Dana White has not fully responded publicly, but the situation has sparked wider debate about fighter promotion, sponsorship pressure, and how far trash talk should go before it impacts business relationships. Overall, the situation highlights ongoing tensions in MMA media, where promotion, respect, and authenticity constantly collide in ways that shape public perception of fighters and their careers moving forward in the sport today. Move on to another. News Raja Jackson confirms he's going to jail after news broke that he accepted a plea deal related to an assault case involving Psycho Stu and will reportedly serve 90 days in jail. He will also be required to pay over $80,000 in restitution and complete 2 years of formal probation. Last night, Rampage and Adrian Broner were live streaming together when Raja briefly appeared and addressed the situation himself. Yeah. I'm going to jail for what beat the waist. Well, how long you got to do, we can't talk about that, but you are going to jail. I know, get this. Hey, justice was served. No, your lawyer, no. He need to learn. Are you serious? No, you need to learn. What do you mean? Hey, we talk about that later. He basically telling Sit. You do got a double lawyer though. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, you got a good lawyer. No, you got a good lawyer facts. The conversation continued in a chaotic tone as the stream shifted between disbelief and jokes about the legal situation surrounding Raja Jackson, who appeared briefly to acknowledge the outcome of his case while others reacted in real time to the seriousness of the plea deal and sentencing details being discussed on the live broadcast. The situation stems from a previous assault incident that led to legal action and ultimately a negotiated agreement resulting in jail time restitution and probation terms that were confirmed ahead of his brief appearance on the stream. Observers noted the contrast between humor and seriousness during the exchange as Rampage and Adrian Broner attempted to lighten the mood while still acknowledging the reality of the sentencing and the legal consequences that Raja is now facing. The stream quickly returned to discussing the incident that triggered the case, with viewers reacting heavily to Raja's admission and the confirmation of his upcoming jail sentence, which has now become a major talking point across social media platforms. Fans continued debating the severity of the punishment while also focusing on the implications for Raja moving forward as he prepares to serve his sentence and complete probation requirements. Overall, situation remains developing further. Move on to another news. Dana White reveals that multiple UFC sponsors once wanted to fire Joe Rogan, but he refused every single time and stood firm on keeping him as part of the broadcast team. Dana White explained that from the beginning he saw Joe Rogan as the right fit for UFC commentary, saying he needed someone educated in martial arts, who was not afraid to speak openly, even on controversial topics during live events. He recalled reaching out to Joe Rogan early on, saying they immediately hit it off, and that he quickly understood the value Rogan would bring to the sport's presentation and overall broadcast quality. Dana White also addressed the pressure he faced over the years from sponsors and outside voices who tried to influence UFC decisions, including direct requests to remove Joe Rogan from commentary. He said people would call him and demand action, but he refused to bend, making it clear that no sponsor or outside influence would dictate who stays or goes in the organization. In a heated recollection, Dana White emphasized that he told those callers not to ever contact him again, trying to control staffing decisions, reinforcing that the UFC leadership would not be pressured into removing key personnel. He further highlighted Joe Rogan's early contribution to the promotion, noting that Rogan even worked the first 12 UFC events for free, showing commitment. Long before the UFC became a global powerhouse, Dana White credited that loyalty and dedication as part of the reason he continued to defend Rogan despite external criticism and sponsorship pressure over the years. He added that many people do not understand the early struggles of the UFC broadcast team and how important personalities like Joe Rogan were in building credibility and excitement for the sport. The discussion has resurfaced as fans revisit old UFC history and debate how close the promotion came to losing one of its most recognizable voices due to external business pressure. Overall, Dana White stood firm in his position that loyalty and long-term vision mattered more than short-term sponsor demands, especially when it came to individuals who helped build the foundation of modern UFC broadcasting. Move on to another news. Khamzat's brother says his body shut down during a brutal weight cut ahead of the Sean Strickland fight. He explained Khamzat originally had a deal in place to fight Jiří Procházka at 205 before the UFC later contacted him about facing Sean Strickland instead. He claimed Khamzat weighed as much as 231 lbs during camp and was still around 214 lbs just 2 weeks before the fight, showing how extreme the cut truly was. In an interview with Sports.ru, Khamzat's brother revealed there was a serious problem during the weight cut, and the team had to decide whether to cancel the fight or take the risk and continue. He stated that when there was only 1.2 kilograms left, his body shut down, suffering oxygen deprivation, and his system began to malfunction under extreme dehydration. He added that they had to stop for an hour because his health would not allow him to continue, and the situation became dangerous as the cut reached its final stages. Khamzat himself reportedly admitted he did not know how he would fight in that condition, describing how difficult it was just to survive the final moments of the weight cut process. According to the brother, there was an agreement with the UFC that Khamzat would originally fight Jiří Procházka at 205, and the contract had already been prepared before plans changed. Then the UFC requested the Sean Strickland matchup, and Khamzat accepted the challenge, cutting from 105 kilograms, 231 lbs, down to 84 kilos, 185 lbs for the fight. By fight time, he had only regained about 5 to 6 kg, or 11 to 13 pounds, showing limited recovery after the extreme depletion. 2 weeks before the fight, he still weighed 97 kilos or 214 lbs, highlighting the scale of the drastic cut in such a short time frame. The team has now reportedly requested a rematch with Sean Strickland, potentially targeting an Abu Dhabi event in October, where they believe unfinished business should be resolved. Khamzat's brother said he is not the type of fighter to move to another weight class and leave unanswered questions behind, emphasizing that they want the second fight and nothing else matters right now. Sean Ali admits the situation continues to draw attention across MMA circles as fans debate the dangers of extreme weight cuts in modern competition. Move on to another news. Nasruddin Imavov was not happy with Sean Strickland's comments following recent drama and reactions inside the MMA community. Even Nasruddin Imavov responded strongly, sending a direct warning after the situation escalated, writing that people say he takes things too personally, but he fully accepts that claim and stands by it without hesitation. He emphasized that religion, family, and nation are not marketing tools to him, and that any insult directed at those values comes with consequences that cannot be ignored or brushed aside. He added that every insult carries a price, and made it clear that there would be no happy ending for anyone crossing those personal boundaries in future exchanges or public statements. The tension increased further after the show ended, as Sean Strickland and several others continued reacting online, adding fuel to an already heated situation circulating across MMA media platforms. Reports also noted that Ali Abdelaziz became involved in the online response before later deleting all of his posts, adding more confusion and speculation around the ongoing dispute. As the broadcast wrapped up, Helwani's coverage remained at the center of discussion, with multiple fighters and managers reacting to comments made during and after the interview segments. The aftermath showed how quickly discussions in MMA media can escalate into wider conflicts, especially when personal beliefs, national identity, and fighter reputations become part of the conversation. Fans and analysts continued debating the intensity of the reactions, with some supporting Imavov's stance on respect and boundaries, while others criticized the growing cycle of online exchanges between fighters and media personalities. Overall, the situation highlights ongoing friction in the sport, where verbal confrontations often extend beyond interviews and into social media disputes that continue even after shows end and cameras stop rolling.